Hi, gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Drafts Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. The commentary and views are our opinions and are not affiliated with the NPB, the Pacific League, Central League, or their sponsors. We are giving reports on the game being played and hope that English-speaking fans can enjoy the games on YouTube and on Twitch along with us. Tonight, we are calling an exhibition game between the Tokyo Yakult Swallows and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. This game is going to be played at the Sapporo Dome, and it is going to be a brisk day outside as they are getting quite a bit of snow, but inside it is a balmy 72 degrees. The two teams are ready to go head-to-head against each other. It's a bit of a sparse crowd, but they do have attendance for tonight's game, and we are going to give you the opening lineup for today's ball game. And we want to thank those people who do come in. And we also want to make sure that we eliminate those people who are bots as we show up in our chat. So here comes the lineup, the starting lineup for the visitors for the Tokyo Yakult Swallows. Leading off and playing center field, wearing number 9, is Yasutaka Shiomi. Batting second and in left field, wearing number 23, is Nori Aoki. In the 3 spot and playing second base is number 1, Tetsudo Yamada. In the cleanup spot and playing third base, wearing number 55, is Manataka Murakami. The designated hitter tonight is number 25, Domingo Santana. Batting sixth and doing the catching, wearing number 27, is Yuhei Nakamura. Batting seventh at first base, wearing number 13, is Jose Ozuna. Batting eighth and playing shortstop is Ichi Nishihara. And batting ninth and in right field is Yoshihiro Akihane. And they're going to be facing the left-hander, and that's going to be Takayuki Kato. He gets to the mound today, and so that is where we're going. And so Raz is in the house, and he says, is Nori Aoki still playing? And then, yes, he is. He is getting the nod in left field. He'll be 40 years old this year. So Nori Aoki gets the start. And now the starting lineup for the home team, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. Leading off and playing third base, wearing number 26, is Daiki Asama. Batting second in right field, wearing number 66, is Chusei Mananami. The shortstop is batting third. That's number 38, Kazunari Ishii. In the cleanup spot and playing in center field, wearing number 50, is Ryota Isobata. Batting fifth and playing second base, wearing number 49, is Ryusi Sato. Batting sixth and doing the catching, wearing number 30, is Shingo Usami. Batting seventh at first base, wearing number 23, is Ryo Watanabe. Batting eighth and doing the designated hitting, wearing number 60, is Takuya Kori. And batting ninth and in left field is number 64, Yua Tamiya. They're going to face the right-handed slants of Yasuhiro Ogawa. And he takes the mound, or he's supposed to be taking the mound tonight, but it looks like we may have ourselves possibly another change. But we do have Kato on the mound, the left-hander for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. The Ham Fighters are going to be wearing their home whites with baby blue trim. They got a powder bluish sort of hat, and that is what they're going to be sporting. They got dark piping down the sides of their pant legs. And so we're ready to get this one underway in just a couple moments as the left-hander Kato is completing his warm-up tosses. Just a few news and notes for everybody that's tuning in. We are going to be doing a lot of live broadcasts this year. The exhibition games will be a bit scattered over the next few weeks. We're not going to call games every day. We will call another one tomorrow night between these same two teams. But we do intend to call a full slate of regular season games in the 2022 season. We're going to do two things. We're going to do one as they happen, and so you can tune in to the live stream as we give the call as things are going on. And then also we will call live delays, and what that is we'll be calling the game live. However, the game will have been completed a couple of hours earlier, but we will give the live play-by-play, and hopefully everybody can come on into the listening party and join with us. We're also going to be doing NPB shorts, which we've been posting up through our channel this month of March. We're going to do some shorts, and we're also going to be doing some player profiles throughout the month as well. And this isn't just to fill the void, but it is to be able to help people engage in baseball. So here we go. We're ready to get underway, and the first pitch is a fastball from the left-hander Kato Delivered to the center fielder Yasutoka Shiomi, and that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. And there's another fastball delivered and another pitch taken for a called strike. And right away, Kato is ahead 0-2. So Raz asked the question. He says, tough dude. He says, is Big Boss wearing a suit? And he said he does want to stay, he wants to change it up a bit. And there is a breaking ball that misses down in the dirt, and the count is 1-2. Well, the Big Boss has got a sort of a bandana on around his neck, and he's got his sunglasses on in the dome, and it looks like he's more in hiding than he is actually ready to navigate these Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to the left side. It gets through the 6-hole into left field, and that is going to be a base hit to lead things off here in the top of the first inning for Yasutaka Shiomi. So Shiomi aboard with a leadoff single. And that's going to bring up the KG veteran, Nori Aoki. Aoki, of course, is entering his 40th year. He is a former Major League veteran. He played with a number of teams across the big leagues, including the Milwaukee Brewers, the New York Mets, Toronto Blue Jays, Houston Astros. And so Aoki is getting the start today. Gets himself dug in, and he's ready to go. He hit .258 last season with 9 homers and 56 runs batted in. And the first pitch is a fastball. It's swung on, and it's chopped down the first baseline. It gets over the head of the first baseman, but it is foul. And the count is quickly 0-1 to Aoki. It definitely took a couple of AstroTurf hops. So no balls and 1 strike. Of course, the Tokyo Yakult Swallows are the defending NPB champions. Aoki has his hands rather high. He starts fairly upright, and then he gets into a bit of a crouch. Here comes the delivery from Kato. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 0-2 to Aoki. That last pitch by Kato, the breaking ball did not have a lot of bite. It had a lot of horizontal movement from left to right. But there wasn't a lot of depth on the pitch, and certainly if Aoki stays inside the ball, he should be able to take it the other way. So here comes the 0-2 pitch. Set up outside. Kato kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's top to third. It's fielded by the third baseman. And that third baseman is Asama. He throws it over to second, but Sato had the double clutch getting the ball out of the glove. And it is not going to retire Aoki, who still, at the age of 40, still runs very well down the line. That's going to go down as a 5-4 fielder's choice. And that's going to retire Shiomi for out number 1. So Aoki is the base runner aboard at first base. And that's going to bring up the power-hitting second baseman Tetsudo Yamada. Aoki establishes his lead at first. He's got 1 foot on the turf and 1 foot on the dirt. Kato kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. One thing I'll say about Kato is he's come out throwing strikes tonight. There's not a lot of movement on his pitches. His fastball is very flat. There's not a lot of cut or run. So here is the 0-1 pitch to Yamada. Yamada holds the bat about face level and away from his body. So here comes the 0-1. Instead, Kato flips it over to first, and returning easily to the bag is Aoki. So no balls and 1 strike. The 2 hitters in the Swallow batting order, Yamada and the next hitter, Murakami, were absolute powerhouse last year. And there's a breaking ball that falls just below the knees. And the count is 1-1. Both of these hitters last year were very, very productive in the Swallows lineup. Murakami drove in 112 runs. There's a fastball swung on and missed. That's going to make the count now 1-2 to Yamada. And then, of course, Yamada himself drove in 101 runs. So both players hit over 30 homers and drove in over 100 runs A lot of production from the 3-4 hitters in the Swallow batting order. So here comes the 1-2 pitch to Yamada. That's a breaking ball down in the dirt, and it's a nice block by the catcher Usami, who keeps it in front, not allowing the base runner Aoki to advance, so that evens the count now at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the big boss is in the dugout. He's got his mask on. It's a black mask with his sunglasses on, and you can barely make out who it is, but it does say Big Boss on his mask. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded through the 4-hole into right field. Yamada is going to be aboard with a single, and they're going to hold Aoki up at second base. So Tatsuya Yamada with a base hit. Aoki at second. That is 3. All 3 players have reached base so far for the Swallows in their half of the first inning. Of course, Aoki reached on a fielder's choice. That's going to bring up the power-hitting third baseman, Munetaka Murakami. Murakami is the real deal. He's a solid package. He's a left-handed stick. Had a chance to see him play a little bit last year. We didn't see a lot of the Swallows last year, but did see of him 39 homers, 112 runs batted in, and he's only 21 years old last year. Here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball, swung on and missed. The count is 1-1. Murakami wanted to change the scoreline in a big hurry with a 3-run homer. It looked like he was trying to take that one well into the seats in right field. So no balls and 1 strike. He tied for first in the NPB in home runs last year. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a fastball taken for a called strike at the knees, and the count is 0-2. So Murakami in the hole quickly. Last year in 500 at-bats, Murakami struck out 133 times. So just over a quarter of the time he does strike out. He batted .278 last season, but had an on-base percentage of .408. But for a young hitter, he also walked 106 times. And there is a fastball swung on and missed. And Murakami is retired on strikes for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, Domingo Santana. Just one final thought on Murakami. Certainly at 21 years old, that's a pretty advanced statistic for him to almost walk as much as he strikes out. One would think that he's going to cut down on his strikeouts this year with a full year under his belt in the NPB or everyday play. His plate discipline is going to continue to improve. So Domingo Santana steps in at the plate, the right-handed hitting DH tonight. Takes the first pitch fastball just off the outside corner, and the count is 1-0. Santana, another big league veteran, last year hit .290 with 19 homers that go with 62 runs batted in. He stands in on the right side. Santana, of course, had some pretty productive big league seasons as well. There is a breaking ball swung on. It's tap foul over on the third side. He's got a lot of life left. He's only 29 years old. He hit 20 homers for the Milwaukee Brewers in 2018, and he hit 32 homers. I'm just going to double check on that. He hit 30 homers in 2017 for the Brew Crew. He's got some juice in the bat. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Cato checks the runners. Kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on, and Santana taps it foul over by the third base dugout. And the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. So sorry about that, Raz. I know you're typing away there. I will keep up with you. Yamada being clutch as usual. Too bad he won't be in the MLB with his big contract. Yeah, more than likely, sometimes the Japanese players will be compensated well enough that they really don't have to leave the NPB. They're a star in Japan, and able to make the money, and there's a breaking ball again swung on. This time it's tap foul just down past the third base coach's box. One of those examples would be Hayato Sakamoto for the Yomiuri Giants. I mean, really, for him to leave, it really doesn't much matter. We've got Big D's Sports and Collectibles in the house. Just looking around, checking in. Raz says the left-handed Vlad, his pitch recognition is quite similar to him. I don't know if I can make that comparison. I really haven't seen enough of Murakami. There's a breaking ball that misses down in the dirt. The count is now 2-2 to Santana. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, and runners are on first and second. Santana digs in, ready to face the left-handed slants of Kato. This is going to be the 21st pitch of the inning. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner. And Santana with good discipline. We'll get the replay on that, and sure enough it was. And there was a little arm side run to it that actually took it off the plate. So the count is now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Kato again looks in and gets the assign from his catcher, Usami. He checks the runner at second base, which is Aoki. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and Santana is down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning. So for the Yakult Swallows in their half of the first, there were no runs, there were 2 hits, there were no errors, and 2 runners left aboard. We're through a half inning. It is the Yakult Swallows nothing. The Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. After this, tonight we're just doing some music in between innings. We got a full program during the regular season, so stick with us. We'll be right back in just a few.
Well, you got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
We appreciate Matt Hollis and his support of our channel. It's an infomercial that we don't get compensated for, but we link to support Matt. If you get a chance, check out another Hollis build after the game. If you've got nothing else to do, he's a San Diego native who likes his Padres. And so now we're ready to get back to the live action. It is going to be the top of the order here in the bottom of the first inning. It's going to be Daiki Asama. It's going to be Chusei Minami and Kazunari Ishii to get things going against the right-handed slants. Now Yasuhiro Ogawa. And so here we go. Here comes the first pitch from Ogawa. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is 0-1 to Asama. Asama's a left-handed stick. Getting the start today at third base. And here goes the pitch from Ogawa. It's a changeup, tap foul over on the third base side. And he had it 0-2. Last year, Asama appeared in 128 games. He had a .251 batting average with 5 homers and 31 RBIs. He stole 8 bases. So here comes the pitch from the right-hander. He kicks and delivers. It is a split-finger pitch, swung on and missed. And Asama is down on strikes for the first out of the inning. They made quick work of Asama. And he's one up and one away. I have to say that had to be a very uncompetitive at bat by the Hokkaido third baseman, and that's going to bring up Chusei Mananami. Mananami last year appeared in 49 games. He had 126 at bats. He had 25 hits. He batted 108. And the first pitch is a fastball that swung on and foul tipped for strike one. He showed a little bit of power. He had 5 homers to go with 13 RBIs. Comes the pitch from the right-hander Agawa. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And the count is now no balls and 2 strikes. So here comes the 0-2 pitch to Manami. Kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on. It is driven into right field. Moving over towards the right field line is the right fielder Akahani, and he makes the grab, and that is going to retire Mananami for out number 2 here in the first inning. So 2 up and 2 away. And that is going to bring up the shortstop, Kazunari Ishii. So Kazunari Ishii steps up to the plate. Batting from the left side. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Last year, Ishii batted .225 with 4 homers and 19 runs batted in. Ogawa holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. There is a split finger pitch that's fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-2. Ogawa has definitely come out throwing strikes tonight. So no balls and 2 strikes. Ogawa ready to go back to work. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It's jammed. It's popped up over on the third base side, but it's going to reach that temporary seating just down the left field line, and that's going to keep the count at no balls and 2 strikes. Very efficient work by the right-hander Ogawa so far. He's only thrown 9 pitches here. So Ogawa ready to go back to work. He works from the stretch with nobody on. He kicks and he almost does like a double pump. And there is a fastball swung on. It is lifted into shallow left field. Coming in on it is Aoki. He's going to make the grab. And that is going to retire Ishii for the 3rd out of the inning. So for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters in their half of the first, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're through 1 complete. It is the Yakult Swallows nothing, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back for the call of the top of the 2nd inning after this musical tune. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the 2nd inning after the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters went down quietly in their half of the first. It is going to be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters coming to bat for the Yakult Swallows. That's going to be the catcher, Yuhei Nakamura, first baseman, Jose Ozuna, and the shortstop, Naomichi Nishihara, to face the left-handed slants of Takayuki Kato. Kato threw 22 pitches in his first inning of work. He allowed a couple of hits and had a couple of base runners, but he finished the inning strong by striking out Murakami and Santana. And so here comes the first pitch. It is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And he's ahead of Nakamura 0-1. Nakamura is batting from the right side. There is a fastball swung on. It is lifted. Foul on the first base side. There's going to be room for the first baseman Watanabe to make the catch. And that is going to retire Nakamura for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away. And that's going to bring up the first baseman, Jose Ozuna. Ozuna also last year had an opportunity to be a part of that championship team. Ozuna had spent time with the Pittsburgh Pirate organization. He batted .258 with 13 homers and 60 RBIs. And the first pitch to Ozuna is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Ozuna was backed off the plate. Ozuna's got a slightly open stance, and here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses low, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Left-hander Cano gets the sign. He's ready to go back to work, and there is a fastball swung on. It's grounded to the shortstop. It's fielded neatly by Ishii. He throws over to first. And that is going to retire Ozuna. Goes down as a ground out, 6-3 for out number 2. And that's going to bring up the shortstop, Naomichi Nishiura. I have to say, the shortstop Ishii, he fielded the ball. He had a ton of time. He really gunned it across the diamond. He got the base runner or the batter runner, Ozuna, by about 5 or 6 steps. I would like to thought that he might have been able to close ground a little bit more, make it an easier play. There's a fastball that's delivered from Kato to the shortstop Nishiura that swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. Last season, Nishiura batted .223 with 5 homers and 24 runs batted in. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into right center field. Moving over underneath it is the right fielder, Mananami. He makes the catch, and then he fires it back in. I don't know why he was doing that, but that was the 3rd out of the inning. Maybe he was wanting to show off his arm strength. But that is going to do it for the Tokyo Yakult Swallows in their half of the 2nd inning. So they go quietly. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the 2nd inning. And we're clipping along here at a pretty good pace. We'll be back in just a couple moments, everybody. Stick around for our call at the bottom of the 2nd inning. Hang tight. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom of the 2nd inning. It is going to be the heart of the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighter batting order to face the right-handed slants of Yasuhiro Ogawa. Ogawa worked very efficiently in his half of the 1st inning. He only threw 10 pitches. And so it'll be Isobata, Sato, and Usami coming to bat here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And the first pitch is a fastball swung on and Sliced foul down the left field line. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. And the count is now 0-2. So Isabata is in the hole quickly. Ogawa working from the stretch. Holds at the belt. He kicks and he delivers. It is a fastball that is swung on and tap foul just past the third base coach's box. It's going to keep the count at 0-2. That pitch was probably too good a pitch to throw 0-2. He left it up in the zone and almost caught too much of the plate. You don't want to let him off the hook too early. And here comes the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball up high. And that is fouled away. And the count is going to remain at no balls and 2 strikes. We noted last year that at least in my opinion, that in the Japanese league, we had a lot more tough at bats with 2 strikes. The Japanese hitters really, really battle. There's a fastball taken for a called strike right down the middle. I'm not sure what Isabata was looking for. Certainly wasn't that pitch, but he stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by for out number 1 here in the 2nd inning. So 1 up and 1 away. So Raz says, is this mostly reserve players or a mix-up of the main team players as well? Some names I don't recognize. Well, certainly the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters, there's going to be some changes. And I'm sure that the big boss is going to have a different type of look on some of these players. And there's a first pitch fastball delivered down to Sato, and it is 1-0. So Sato last year had no homers, 6 RBIs. He batted .214. He only had 117 at bats. So I would think that the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters are going to be a young group this year. And there's a fastball that misses outside. And the count is quickly 2-0. Of course, the Ham fighters last season, they were a subpar 500 team. And there's a fall that misses outside. The count now runs 3-0 to Sato. They were 55-68. And that does not factor in the tie games, because last year, after 9 innings, the games would end in ties. This year, they're going back to the normal 12 innings of play, if that is the case, before a tie is ruled. There's a 3-0 fastball swung on that is popped up into center field, and moving in on it is the Swallows center fielder, and that is Shomi. He makes the catch. And that is going to retire Sato for the 2nd out of the inning. So to answer your question, yeah, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters are using a bit of a mix here. They've got a couple of veteran players in the lineup and a couple of recognized names, and then some other players that are, if you want to call them part-time or reserve players, getting any early season opportunities. So with 2 away, here comes the first pitch to Asami. It is swung on. It's tapped back to the pitcher. Ogawa fields it. He throws to first. And that is going to retire Asami. That goes as a ground out, 1-3 for the 3rd out of the inning. I guess the way I can probably describe this right now is it's Ogawa, the man, against a bunch of boys in the lineup. He is making it look easy with 20 pitches through the first 2 innings of work. So we're through 2 quick, complete innings at the Sapporo Dome. It is the Tokyo Yakult Swallows nothing, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. Here's our friend Matt again.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city, San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's another Hollis build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the 9-1-2 hitters in the batting order coming up for the Yakult Swallows, and that is going to be the right fielder Yoshihiro Akahani, who gets the start there tonight. And the first pitch is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. He's got one of my favorite numbers. He's wearing not just 23, he's wearing 023. So obviously one of the players that are registered for the training purposes. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count is 0-2. I find that fascinating on the rosters that they have some players that are getting the proverbial triple-digit number. I used to kind of chuckle a little bit about that, but he is getting the opportunity to get a start today. And there is a breaking ball that misses, and the count now runs to 1-2 strikes. TYN is in the house tonight. We're glad that you could be here with us. We are going to be back again tomorrow night. We're going to call these same two teams again at the same time. And then after that, we're going to be looking at the different nights that we can do games. We're not going to do a full slate of games in the exhibition season. As we mentioned before, there's a fastball that misses in and the count's 2-2. But our plan is to call a game every single day of the NPB season, either live or on the delay. So here is a fastball. This is swung on, is lifted into right field, but it is just going to get down foul in foul territory, and the count goes to, or is going to remain at 2-2 strikes. So 2-2 strikes. The right fielder for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters is that Chusei Menenami, and he's a big fellow. He's about 6'2". He really fills out a uniform nicely. And there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. It's going to reach the stands behind home plate on the first base side. And the count is going to remain at 2-2 strikes. That second inning was a walk in the park for the left-hander Kato. He only threw 7 pitches. And here comes the pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. It's off the glove of the pitcher, and it gets by the shortstop Ishii into center field. And Akahani is aboard with a single. A seeing eye single at that. And now there's a runner on first, and that's going to bring up the top of the order for the Swallows, and that's going to bring up Yasutaka Shiomi. Shiomi singled in his first at-bat. He was raced on a fielder's choice to get the ball game going. He's officially 1 for 1. Akahani's got a big lead over at first base. He's got 1 foot on the turf and 1 on the dirt. He looks like he wants to run. And here we go, squaring the bunt is Shiomi, but he is pulled back. Shiomi hit .278 last year. So here we go. We're going to get back at it again. So the runner at first is Akahani. There's nobody out here in the top half of the third inning. The left-hander Kato gets his signal from the catcher Usami. He holds at the belt. He checks the runner at first, and now he throws over to first, and diving back in time is the base runner Akahani. So Kato It's the ball. He gets on the rubber. He takes a look at the sign from his catcher, Usami. He holds at the belt. And again, he throws over to first base. And this time they got the runner hung up. Terrible execution by the runner. They've got him in a rundown, and they've already had to make about a half dozen throws. And finally, they're able to retire the base runner. So obviously they were looking at stealing on first move. And that'll go down as a caught stealing. And it was 1-3-6. We'll see if I can get the rest of it for you, but we'll just call it 1-3-6. But not very good. The base runner did a pretty good job of staying in the rundown. Poorly executed. I think that the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters will go back to the drawing board to work on their rundowns. That is the first out of the inning. So Raz asks the question. He says, do you think the fighters will find somebody to replace Sho? There is a breaking ball down. And I think the honest answer is that, yeah, they have to. I mean, or they may just play this year out. I don't think that they're really thinking that they're going to be going anywhere anyway. And so here comes the 1-0 pitch. There's a fastball that's taken outside. The appeal down to first base, and the first base umpire says, no, he didn't go. And I assume that what you're asking is it would be about Sho Nakata, if I'm not mistaken. And so here comes the pitch, and there's a fastball that's taken for a called strike at the knees. And the count is now 2-1. Two balls and one strike. One guy that they really never got the mileage out of yet, although he did have a decent finish last year. And there's a fastball that swung on. It's fouled off over on the third baseline, and the count is now 2-2. Is the Taiwanese outfielder Po Jung Wong, or Wrong, depending on how you want to enunciate it. He was a huge player in the Taiwanese league. Since coming to Japan, he's been rather, I guess the way I would put it would be uninspiring. So here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away over on the first base side. Count is 1-2. Yeah, so back to the answer to your question about Sho Nakata. I really think that the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters are a team in flux. When you think about the players that they've lost over the last few years with, Yu Darvish about 8-10 years ago going to the big leagues, there's a fastball that misses low. And the count is now 3-2 to Shomi. And then you think of Kohei Arihara leaving for the big leagues after Shohei Ohtani left. And basically gutted the franchise of 3 premium starters. And there is a fastball swung on. This is lifted into the deep left field. Moving back onto the warning track and looking up is the left fielder, and that is Tamiya, and he's going to make the catch. And that is going to retire Shiomi for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to bring up the left fielder, Nori Aoki. So just to finish that thought, so Nakata, there's going to be a lot of job openings over there. And of course, TYN chimes in and says he's a promising player, but not sure if he can replace Nakata. And certainly not at this point in his career. So I think it's going to be a long season for those fans who like the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters. There's a first pitch fastball delivered to Aoki that misses outside. The count is 1-0. And I think that by bringing in the new coach with the big boss behind the bench there's a fastball swung on. Its tap foul on the first base side. The count is 1-1 to Aoki. I do think that if I had to offer my opinion, they probably brought him in to work with the younger players and to sort of come along with those players as well. Sometimes you get the older coaches and the older managers, and they don't always do well with the younger players per se. Or they do better with veteran ball clubs. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's a breaking ball that floats up at 97 kilometers an hour. So that's less than 60 miles an hour, and it falls in for a called strike. Aoki stood there and watched it drop in. It looked like they were playing two pitch. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded up the middle, and it gets by the diving, outstretched arms of the second baseman, Ryushi Sato. And Nori Aoki is aboard with a 2-out single. That's his second time today he's been on board. He reached on the fielder's choices last time up. And now we've got a runner at first and 2 away, and that's going to bring up the second baseman, Tetsudo Yamada. Now, he really had an opportunity to close off this inning here without the heavy lumber coming up with batters on. But a seeing eye single by Aoki keeps the inning alive for the Swallows. So here comes the first pitch to Yamada. It is a breaking ball that misses down and in. And the count is 1-0. Yamada singled his last time up. He's 1 for 1 in tonight's ball game. As we mentioned, he hit 34 homers and drove in 101 last year. He and Murakami both drove in over 100 runs. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. And the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Yamada with the sort of upright stance. He holds the hands at almost helmet level. He has them stretched out a little bit away from his body. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It's tapped over to third base. Charging hard is the third baseman, Asama. He fields the ball. He throws to first. And bouncing out of the dugout with high fives around is the big boss as he slaps his third baseman on the backside. So that's going to go down as a ground out, 5-3. Nice play by the third baseman, Asama. So for the Tokyo Yakult Swallows in their half of the inning, they had no runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the third inning. It is the Yakult Swallows nothing, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments after this. We're glad you could be with us here tonight. We'll give you some tunes and some more memories. We'll be back in just a couple. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. They're in between innings, between the top of the third and the bottom of the third. We'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom of the third inning. It is going to be the bottom third of the batting order for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. That's going to be the first baseman, Ryo Watanabe, the DH, Takuya Kori, and Yua Tamiya, the left fielder, to get things going here against the right-hander Agawa. And the first pitch is a fastball. This is swung on. It is lifted into left center field. Moving over to his left and going to make the catch is Nori Aoki, and that is going to retire Watanabe for out number 1 here in the third inning. So 1 pitch and 1 away. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, Takuya Kori. Really, Ogawa has hardly broken a sweat. He's retired 7 in a row, 20 pitches for the first 2 innings. And now the designated hitter, Takuya Kori, comes to bat. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So our friend Raz says, thanks for the opinion. I've been hearing that Kiyomiya name pop up, but he's been struggling, and he's still only 22. There is a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count now is even to 1-1 on Corey. So here we go. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. There is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-2. I don't know a whole lot about Kiyomiya. I know he is on the roster. And he's going to be 22. He's going to be 23 actually in May. So I haven't done enough. I don't know enough about him at this point. There is a breaking ball swung on. It's tapped over to third. It's picked up by the third baseman, Murakami. He throws to first. It is up the line at first base. It's not going to be in time. And aboard is going to be Corey. We're going to have to see how they score that. I'm not sure if they're going to rule that as an error or not. If it is, it'll go on the third baseman, Murakami. I'm going to have to watch that one again. It was actually a split finger fastball that really didn't split. It was stayed up in the zone. Third baseman, Murakami fielded it. And I think that one might be reviewable. We're going to have to wait and see here. I wonder if they're going to go upstairs and take a look at it. Are they reviewing in spring training? I'm not sure. The runner is aboard. They're not going to look at it. But I would have to think that could have been an error charged to the third baseman, because that should have been an out. The first baseman, Ozuna, had to leave the bag, and there was a fastball swung on and fouled away. So Tamiya, the left fielder who's hitting in the 9 spot, is now up to bat. Trying to get an official score on that one for everybody. Sometimes we don't always get the information from the... And it is an error on the third baseman. That would be a throwing error. And there's a fastball swung on. It is hit down the left field line. Charging hard is Nori Aoki. He's got a chance on it. It is in foul territory. He makes the catch at his shoestrings. A nice running grab by the left fielder, and that is going to retire Tamiya. He had to come a long way to get that one. Absolutely. Ball hung up for quite a while. The third baseman, Murakami, was heading out. The shortstop, and then, of course, Aoki running makes a nice catch. Beautiful play by Aoki. That's going to bring up the top of the order. That's going to bring up Daiki Asama. Asama, who had a beautiful play to end the top half of the third inning. And the first pitch is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Asama digs in. He hits from the left side, facing the right-handed slants of Agawa. Agawa holds at the belt. Now he fires over to first base, and diving back in time is the base runner. And it looks like we may have a new runner in the game. I have to do a double check on that. We had... To me, no, actually, it is Corey at first. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded to the shortstop. It's neatly fielded by the shortstop, Nishiura, and he throws to first. And that is going to retire Asama. That's going to go down as a ground out, 6-3 for out number 3. So the error does not cause any damage. There was no runs, there were no hits, there was 1 error, and 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 3 complete innings. It is the Yakult Swallows nothing, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters nothing, and it does look like the big boss is going to the bullpen. So by the looks of it, we are going to have a pitching change. We'll get you all that information when we come on back, and our friend Raz says, with the Toronto Blue Jays, Nori had some nice catches. Unfortunately, Nori really didn't have enough time with the Toronto Blue Jays. He spent a whole lot of time there. Of course, I believe it was they shipped him off to Houston after that. Or either that they got him from Houston and he ended up with the Mets. But unfortunately, Aoki really didn't stick around much more in the big leagues after that time in Toronto. So we'll be back after this, everybody. Stick around. We'll be right back with you. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the fourth inning, and there are going to be some changes. And they got a change in left field. It is going to be Hoshikawa is coming in, or he's actually going to be in center field. Hoshikawa, the center fielder for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. And we do expect that there's going to be a lot of stuff going on here in the exhibition game. So we will be prepared to be making those changes and giving you the call of that as much as we possibly can. It's only 29 pitches for the starter today, Gawa, for the Yakult Swallows. But here's Murakami stepping in, the big, powerful left-handed hitting third baseman. The first pitch delivered to him from the lefty Kato is taken, a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So 50 pitches so far for the starter Kato. There's a fastball that is swung on, and it is tapped at home plate, and it is tapped foul. And the count now goes to 0-2. Certainly an exhibition game where the pace, we've got 3 innings completed in 50 minutes. It's quite a pace for the ball game. But usually once we get into the bullpens and they start making pitching changes, I would think that we may not see too many in-between inning pitching changes here. And there's a fastball that misses outside. The count now is 1-2 to Murakami. And part of the reason for that is going to be that one would most likely think that they're going to get an opportunity for the relievers to get clean innings of work. There's a fastball swung on, and this ball is hit up the middle. It gets by the outstretched glove of the shortstop Ishii, and it is a base hit for Murakami. He is aboard with a single, and that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Domingo Santana. So Santana comes to bat. Santana today struck out in his only plate appearance. We are in the top of the fourth, so we're just making an update on our banner scrolling for everybody. Top of the fourth inning. Santana, who hit .290 last season with 19 homers and 62 runs batted in, digs in at the plate, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away. It's going to reach the seats over the first base dugout, and the count is quickly 0-1. For those of you who are interested, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters are building a brand new stadium. They're going to have a retractable dome. I can't remember if it's going to be ready for the 2023 or 2024 season. But really the concept of how it's being built is very interesting. They were putting a housing development or a condo development pretty much beside it or almost built into it. There is a fastball that misses down. I kind of like the concept. I know that in England for soccer, when they tore down Old Highbury, where Arsenal used to play, they tore down the stadium, and what had ended up happening is they ended up doing a housing development. They ended up making put together as I say, a housing development or a development of condos. I think it's a great idea because you can start to put your stadium, and then you've got your fans, and you've got, basically an audience right there. What are people going to do? They're going to go to the game. You see that in the United States a lot now. Certainly, I think of in Seattle, where the football stadium is, and they combine with the soccer, and of course, you got the baseball stadium. There's a lot of apartments that are all in that area. And again, the pitcher Kato throws over to first base, and diving back in time is Murakami. So 1 ball and 1 strike here to the designated hitter Santana. Santana's got a slightly open stance, and here comes the pitch. It's a fastball swung on, and it is driven through the 4-hole into right field. And the right fielder, Mananami, picks it up, and he fires it back in. And Santana is aboard with a single, and holding at second base is Murakami, and they've got 2 on and nobody out. And that looks like that is going to be it for Santana. We're going to have ourselves a pinch runner for him. He's going to leave the ball game. Raz says they were consulting the Rangers for the stadium as well. I assume when you say Rangers, that would be Scottish Rangers from Scotland. Is that correct? And get the pinch runner for you for the Yakult Swallows. And that is going to be number 33. And it looks like it is Suoma Uchiyama. Of course, Uchiyama is a catcher, so I wonder how much pinch running he's going to do. And that brings up Yuhei Nakamura with 2 aboard and nobody out here in the 4th inning. Oh, Texas Rangers. Yeah, interesting that they would be talking to the Texas Rangers. Of course, the Texas Rangers built their new stadium. So here's Nakamura squaring to bunt. They throw down to second base. They have a pick play going. And getting back in time is the base runner Murakami. I've not been down to Texas. I've been to Dallas, but I've never seen a game at the old ballpark or in Arlington. Of course, they built that new stadium, and they've got, really the ballpark in Arlington was relatively new. It's amazing that they've built through stadiums faster than one can shake a stick at. So runners are on first and second. The catcher, Nakamura, is at the plate. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. The catcher, Usami, goes out in front of the plate, and he flashes the defensive signal, most likely a bunt defense. And Nakamura is squaring to bunt. And here comes the pitch, and it is a bunt. It's down the first base line. It's fielded by the first baseman, Watanabe. He spins and fires to third. What a fantastic play. Absolutely outstanding play. They were able to get Murakami on a fielder's choice. So that is going to retire Murakami. That's going to go down as a fielder's choice, 3-5. Really sweet play. Fielded the ball, turned to the glove side, fired it over to the third baseman, Asama, who was holding his ground. The catcher, Usami, was directing traffic out there and signaling to his player to throw to third. It was a great play. So they still have runners at first and second. The fighters are not out of danger yet. And that is going to bring up Jose Osuna. Ozuna grounded to the shortstop in his only other plate appearance tonight. And here's the first pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on, and it is a laser beam hit to the ball boy down the left field line. And the count is 0-1 to Ozuna. Our friend Raz says the Texas is big, and as long as they have the money, I guess, unlike the Oakland A's. Yeah, the Oakland A's are, sort of a sad situation there on the other side of the Bay Area. You think San Francisco and their stadium and how much money they have, and they're really not that far away from one another. So here comes the no ball and 1 strike pitch. Cano delivers. It's a breaking ball down and away to Ozuna, and the count is 1-1. Well, they certainly have a double play candidate at the plate. Ozuna does not run as well as he did a few years ago. Not that he was a great runner, but he is definitely a double play candidate. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Ozuna. The runner at second is Santana. The runner at first is Nakamura. There is 1 away here in the top half of the 4th inning. Cato holds at the belt. He kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on. It is lifted into deep left center field. Moving over underneath it is the center fielder, who is the replacement. He comes up throwing. They throw to third, and it's a double play. So the replacement has paid off dividends. As we said earlier, we would give the name of the replacement when he would come into the ball game, or at least when he came up to bat. But number 55 is who it is. So a quick look for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters. Number 55 is not listed on their regular roster. They have him over here as a pitcher, but we don't see him as a pitcher, obviously, because he's playing in the outfield. It looks like it could be Kaito Matsuura. And if that's who it is, what a fantastic play. And that's going to end the inning. That's going to go down as a 9-5 putout, or sorry, an 8-5 putout for the third out of the inning. Great play. So for the Tokyo Yakult Swallows in their half of the fourth inning, they had no runs on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the fourth inning. It's still a 0-0 ball game. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. We're glad you are with us tonight. Welcome back, everybody. It was a great play to end the top of the fourth inning. A deep fly ball to the center fielder who moved over to get it, and he came up throwing. It was a relay to the shortstop, and Ishii put it right on the glove. It was a well-executed play, so it's going to be going down as a 8-6-3 putout, and that is going to retire, obviously, the side, and that is going to bring up for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters the top of their order, the 2-3-4 hitters in their order. But it does look like they're going to have some changes as well. And we'll get that for you as it comes. Looks like Ishii's still going to be on deck. We'll see if Mananami is coming to bat. As we said in the exhibition game, it's a very sparse crowd. I'm not sure what the attendance is, but they do have a pitching change. And we'll get that for you as well. The Swallows are bringing in a right-hander in which to pitch. It's going to be number 48. So as we go through this, we'll be filtering through and trying to get, it looks like it's going to be Yuto Kanakubu. And the first pitch from him is a fastball that is swung on and missed, and the count is 0-1. So 3 innings of work. Relatively easy for Ogawa as he only throws 29 pitches. There's a fastball swung on and is lifted down the right field line. It's going to reach the seats, and that is going to make the count no balls and 2 strikes quickly to Mananami. And as we mentioned before, it's a bit of a young lineup for the fighters tonight. And so the Swallows are going right after them. And so they should. You got to make them be hitters, and young hitters chasing a lot of pitches. And there's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-2. Maybe overly aggressive would be the word. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-2. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It is popped up in the infield. Camping out underneath it is the first baseman, Ozuna. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to retire Mananami for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away. And that is going to bring up the shortstop, Kazunari Ishii. So Raz asks the question, he says, what do you think of the prospect of MLB players coming over to the NPB? There's a first pitch fastball that is swung on and fouled away. And the count is 0-1. Harper did put up some interest. Yeah, I guess Harper held up a Yomiuri Giants jersey, which was kind of funny. And there is a breaking ball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 1-1. So yeah, he put out a jersey, or he put up had some sort of jersey on. I think it was the, I'm pretty sure it was the Yomiuri Giants. There was somebody else who did it as well. And there's a fastball that swung on and fouled away. I'm trying to think of the other player that did it. It was somebody else did it with a Mexican jersey, one of the Mexican teams. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. There's a fastball that just misses inside, and the count is 2-2. Well, I think that, as you look at certain players that have come over to the NPB, there's a few reasons why certainly the American players come over. One is certain players will go looking for a payday. There's a ball that misses down. The count's now 3-2 to Ishii. Players that are at the, they're too good for AAA, but not good enough for the big leagues, seem to want to make that run over so they can, collect a major league wage for a couple of years. And there's a fastball swung on. It's popped up down the third base line. And the third baseman, with his back to the infield, Murakami, makes the grab. He certainly did not make that look easy, but he does make the catch to retire Ishii from the second out of the inning. And so that is going to leave it all up to the center fielder, Ryota Isobata, but Isobata is out of the lineup. So we'll get the confirmation of the change at this point. And as we said, it was number 55 for the Ham Fighters. And here comes the first pitch, and it is a fastball that misses down and away. And the count is 1-0. There's always a bit of a struggle, especially in the exhibition season, depending upon who is who and what is what. So this is Hasekawa who is hitting. And he swings and he pops it up over to the third baseman. And again, it'll be an easy play this time for Murakami. He just has to come in. And he's going to make the grab, and that is going to do it for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters in their bottom half of the fourth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We are now through 4 complete innings. It is the Yakult Swallows nothing, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. But that is Ryohei Hasekawa, who is the center fielder. We'll get updated on that as he replaced Isobata in the lineup tonight. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to cruise to the top of the fifth in just a minute. There is a pitching change for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. We'll bring that to you when we return. Hang tight. Welcome back, everybody. We've got a right-handed pitcher in for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. It's going to be Hiromi Ito entering the ball game. Ito is taking over for Takayuki Kato, who went 4 strong innings. He allowed 6 hits, pitched himself out of a couple of jams, but for the most part, was able to fill up the zone with strikes and did what he had to do to get the outs and had some nice defensive play. We do have a new catcher in the ball game as well. And we will get that. I'm assuming it is going to be a situation. This is going to be Yushi Shimizu, who is coming in to catch for Usami. So Usami's going to get the rest of the night off, but we'll confirm all of his information when he comes up to bat as well. I'm sure that's going to be in the same spot in the batting order. So here we go. Here we are back to play. And the first pitch from Ito is a fastball swung on and fouled away by the shortstop Nishira. Nishira tonight is 0 for 1. He flew out to right field his first time up. So just back to Raz again. He had asked about players putting it out there that maybe they go over to the Japanese league. Unless there is determined long term, I really don't see the stars of MLB, the big stars. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. I'm probably not going to go over unless it is in the twilight of their career. And I think of Adam Jones with the Oryx Buffaloes, who spent the last 2 seasons there. Or guys like Gregory Polanco, who signed with the Murray Giants, who was a legitimate major league star when he was with Pittsburgh until injuries caught up with him. There's a breaking ball that swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2 to Nishira. So certainly with the major league interest, there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 2-2. That would be how I would have to think. I mean, there's been some real name players who've gone over to Japan. I remember Warren Cromartie back in the 80s, who left the Montreal Expos in a contract dispute. The Montreal Expos were a notoriously cheap organization, not wanting to pay the guys. There's a fastball swung on and missed. And Nishira is retired for the first out here in the top of the 5th inning. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Yoshihiro Akahane. Akahane singled his last time up, and he was caught stealing against the start in right field tonight. So here comes the first pitch. It is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. And here's the pitch from the right-hander. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up to shallow second base, camping out underneath it. As the second baseman, Sato, he's going to make the catch, and that is going to retire Akahane for the second out of the inning. That is going to leave it all up to the top of the order, and that's going to be Yasutaka Shiomi. Shiomi tonight is 1 for 2. He singled in the first inning, was erased on a fielder's choice, and he flew out to left. So officially 1 for 2. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. 1 ball and no strikes. So 1 ball and no strikes to Shiomi. And there's another breaking ball from Ito that misses outside. The count is now 2-0. So we're glad to bring you the exhibition game here tonight, our first one of the 2022 season. For me, more than anything, it's an opportunity to try to get into mid-season form. So once the league gets going at the end of the month, there's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Ito holds at the chest. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that's delivered, and I'm not sure where that pitch was. The umpire behind home plate, who's done a pretty good job tonight, seems to think that pitch was upstairs, but that pitch looked pretty good. I don't think it can get any better than that. So 3 balls and 1 strike, and here comes the 3-1 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It is popped up into shallow center field. Coming in underneath it is the center fielder, Hoakawa, and he makes the catch, and that is going to retire the side. I don't know what's going on with the outfielders. They're firing it in after the 3rd out of the inning as if there's a play somewhere. And so there's a play nowhere other than going back to the dugout. So at least my humor is entertained by some of that stuff. So that's a fly ball to center field for the 3rd out of the inning. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the 5th. It is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 0, and the Tokyo Yakult Swallows 0. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, and we'll keep chatting with Raz here. We're glad Raz can make it in tonight. Hold tight, everybody. We'll be right back after this. back, everybody. As we move to the bottom of the fifth inning, the Fighters are coming to bat with the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, or check that, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in their batting order. It'll be Sato, Usami, and Watanabe, but of course Usami is now out of the game. We have the change in that spot. We'll get that for you when that happens, just to confirm. It looks like it'll be Sato to get things going. So our friend Raz asks a question in the chat. He says, in my view, the NPB teams, are they even consider signing him during this lockout? I can't see that happening because they're going to have to release players that are already there. And of course, once the lockout is over, then they can bring the other guys would go back, right? So it'd be a temporary signing. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. There is a replacement at first base for the Swallows, as you do have a new first baseman in for Osuna. We'll have to get that update for you as well. There's going to be a lot of changes here, as most of the everyday players are not going to be in the lineup. So no balls and 1 strike. And Sato swings. It is a fastball lifted into deep center field. Moving over underneath it is the center fielder Shiomi. He makes the grab, and that is going to retire Sato for the first out of the inning. And so 1 up and 1 away. Right now, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters have not been able to figure out the Swallow pitching. They are yet to get a base hit. Of course, that's usually where the kiss of death comes in, where we lay the kiss of death on the pitcher and he'll allow a hit. So this is number 10. This is Yushi Shimizu. This is his first at bat of the ball game. The first pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. So Shimizu here batting in his half of the 5th inning, and there's a fastball swung on. This is lifted into right field, and it is going to be moving over underneath it, the right fielder. That is Akahane, and he's going to make the catch for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, just like that, and that's going to leave it up to the first baseman, Ryo Watanabe. So Watanabe is 0 for 1 today. He flew out to left field his first time up. And he will get himself set in. Last year he hit .242 with 3 homers and 29 RBIs. And here's the first pitch from Kanekabu. It's swung on. It's grounded to third. It's fielded neatly by the third baseman, although it had to be dug out of the dirt. So a bit of a circus routine over there for Murakami at third base, but they do get the runner Watanabe. It goes as a ground out, 5-3 for the third out of the inning. So we're through 5 complete. It is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters nothing, the Tokyo Yakult Swallows nothing, and the big boss there with his big glasses and his mask and all the rest of that stuff and his animation be the only thing that's going to keep Fighters fans entertained this year, because they can't hit the ball. There's going to be a long season in Hokkaido. So they're making the changes, and we're going to take this little break here to get a drink. We'll be back with the 6th. They are coming out to clean the stuff, so we anticipate there's not a whole lot of highlights. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Here's our friend Matt again. So check out Matt and his channel when you get a chance.
Good evening, sports fans. I hope you all have been enjoying the game. This is just another message from another Hollis build. I hope that your team is in the lead, but if not, remember, that's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May, but you know I'm gonna change that tune. When I'm back on top in June. I said that's life, and as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on my team, but I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I hope you enjoy the rest of the game. And if it remains the same, remember, that's life. You want your fill? Go check another Hollis build on YouTube. Last Raps Baseball. Let's get back to the game. Let's go! You know that's life. You know it. One love and peace.
Thanks again to our friend Matt Hollis, our San Diego native and supporter of our channel. And in turn, we like to support Matt. Sure, after the game is done, to go check out what he does. He's got all kinds of things. He's got his animals, he's got his cards, and he's got his love for the city of San Diego. So check out his channel when you get a chance. So we are cruising now into the top of the sixth inning. This is the time of the game where they like to do a lot of the maintenance work. There have been 6 hits in the ball game for the Swallows. The Fighters are yet to get their first hit of the night. It's been a pretty solid pitching performance by the 2 pitchers for the Swallows. The starter, Ogawa, went 3 innings, and he only allowed 29. He faced 10 batters. He faced 1 over his minimum. And he threw 29 pitches in that amount of work. And, of course, then he was followed up by Karakabu, and he went out there and absolutely sliced and diced. He had himself a 5-pitch inning there in the 5th inning. So making very efficient work of the young Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters. But realistically, it is men and boys. So back we were talking with Raz, who's in our chat tonight. And he was asking, he says, in my view, are NPB teams even considering signing players during the lockout? And it is. The foreign cap space is a headache, especially when you have to have guys. And if the big leagues get going again, well, then you're going to have to re-sign or find some other players. So they don't want to release guys or bury them in their minors just because they can bring in a big-name, big league star for, what, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? And certainly not arms. The arms aren't going to come across. It would be a better chance at hitters. But I really just don't see that happening. I can't even fathom it. But you never know. I mean, who knows? It's always fun to think about. There is going to be a change at first base for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters, and we'll get that for you as it comes available. Number 21 for the Fighters is now in playing first base, and 21 looks like it's going to be Kataro Kiyomiya. But here we go back to the live action, and it's Nori Aoki to get things going, and he takes a first pitch fastball from Ito for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to short. It's fielded neatly by Ishii over to first, and Aoki is going to be retired. It goes as a ground out, 6-3 for out number 1. So 1 up and 1 away. And that is going to bring up the second baseman, Tetsudo Yamada. We are going to be back in the game again, or back here again tomorrow. And so we are going to do these same 2 teams again tomorrow night. So here we go. Tetsuya Yamada steps in. And the first pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So Ito, when he came in, he had a 12-pitch inning in the 5th inning. He is right now being very efficient here against the Swallows in the 6th. There's a breaking ball that swung on and missed, and the count is now 0-2 quickly to Yamada. Check that. It looks like a breaking ball sometimes. It was actually a split finger pitch. Raz says, I don't think the big boss wants to start the season with a no-hit game already under his belt. There's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner, and the count is 1-2. The catcher, Shimizu really wanted that pitch. He held it there. It was just off the outside corner. So here's the 1-2, and it's a split finger pitch that misses down. The count is now 2-2. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing like your first game in front of your home crowd. You go out there and absolutely lay an egg. No hits. And here we go. Here's a fastball that misses inside it again. Shimizu holds the ball as he felt that pitch would have caught the inside corner. We got the replay on that one, and there was no need for that. That was actually right over the white line of the right-handed batter's box. So here's the 3-2 pitch. It's a fastball that misses low. And let's face it, Tetsuya Yamada has a reputation. He's a reputation of being one of the best hitters in all of the NPB. And so the umpire is definitely going to give him the benefit of the doubt more often than not. But that is the first base on balls. And that is going to do it for Tetsuya Yamada. So he is going to leave the game. And we do have a pinch runner coming in for the Yakult Swallows. We'll get you that number in just a second and who he is. It's going to be an outfielder, and that's going to be Maruyama Waku, who's come in to run. We'll see if he stays in the game or if there's going to be a double switch. That brings up Murakami, and Murakami digs in, but they are concerned about the base running of the young outfielder who is in to replace Yamada, so Waku can run a little bit. So here we go back to the live action. Ito holds at the belt, and now he steps off and looks over to first. And Waku returns. And now he fires over again, and diving back in time is Waku. So here we are back to the live action, and the pitch, it's a breaking ball, and off goes the runner. They throw down to second base, and it's going to be in time. A nice play by the catcher, Shimizu. He throws out the would-be base stealer, Waku. That's going to go down as a caught stealing. 2-6 for the second out of the inning. I got to give some credit to the fighters here tonight. They have played very good defensive baseball. They've been outstanding. They made that well-executed play to end the third inning on the fly ball to center field. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is now 1-1 to Murakami. They executed the relay really well. Probably the worst thing they did tonight was that rundown between first and second. But they still were able to execute the out. It was not executed well, but they were able to make the play. Of course, the center fielder making the play and Ishii getting the relay and firing it to third base to end the third inning. Fantastic relay. And then, of course, the defensive play to end one of the innings by the third baseman, Asama. That actually was the ending of the third inning. Ending of the fourth inning was the relay from the outfield. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball that swung on and missed. The ball gets away from the catcher, Shimizu. He picks it up. He fires to first, and that is going to retire Murakami on a strikeout for the second time tonight. For out number 3, that goes down as a strikeout, 2-3 for the putout. So for the Yakult Swallows in their half of the inning, they had no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We are now through 5.5. It is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters nothing, the Yakult Swallows nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with the call. The bottom of the 6th inning. We're glad you could be here with us. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back after this, everybody. We're moving to the bottom of the 6th inning. Whether you're listening live or on delay, we're glad you can check this out. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves now into the bottom of the sixth inning. It's going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighter batting order. Scheduled to come up to bat, we have Takuya Kori. We've got Yua Tamiya. Daiki Asama. That is 8, 9, and 1 slated to come to bat. So on the mound for the Swallows, they began the game with Ogawa. Then they went to the right-hander who is still in the game, and that is Kanekubu. He is in for his third inning of work, and the first pitch is a fastball that's fouled away, and the count is 0-1. He threw 12 pitches in his first inning of work and 6 pitches last inning. He's got 18 pitches so far this evening. So here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that just misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And there's a fastball that is delivered, and it misses upstairs, and the count is now 2-1. We do have it'll just Corey who is batting here, and there's a fastball that swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Takuya Corey. Corey is first at bat tonight. He reached base on an error by the third baseman, and there he swings at it. He grounds it to second, and it is fielded, and it is flipped over to first, and that is going to do it. That is Nageoka, who is now in the ball game at second base. And Corey has retired. That goes as a ground out, 4-3, as Tetsuya Yamada is no longer in the game. As we said, we're going to have to give you some of these updates as they come along. Yua Tamiya is the left-handed stick who's in the 9-hole tonight. He flew out to left field his last time up. He is 0-for-1 tonight. Here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. So here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's a fastball. This is swung on, and it is lifted foul down the left field line. It's going to get into the seats, and the count now is 2 balls and no strikes. So 2 balls and no strikes to Tamiya. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball. This is swung on. It is laced down the right field line, but it is just foul, and that is going to now run the count. Got it as 2-1, but we'll have to go and double check on that one for you. As we said, we're not quite in midseason form yet. This is our first game of the preseason. So here comes the 1 ball and 2 strike pitch. There is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now runs even at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 18 pitches through the 2 innings of work for Kanekubo. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on, and it is hit foul down the left field line. It's going to be fielded by the ball boy in left field. And the count remains at 2-2 to Tamiya. So Kanekabu ready to go back to work. He pauses at the top of his delivery, and it is a fastball swung on. It's grounded to second. It's fielded. It's thrown over to first. And that is going to retire the left fielder Tamiya. It goes as a ground out, 4-3. And as I said, I'm going to have to get you the updates on the positions of the players, as the Swallows have made changes. So Nakagawa, who is in the game, he's actually going to hit in the 2-hole where Nori Aoki is positioned. And coming up to bat, this is going to be Asama again, hitting for the Fighters. And there is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. Well, that pitch there was certainly a little different than what Tetsuya Yamada got to see. I thought some of the pitches to Yamada were better than that floater up to the plate to Asama. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-2, but that's what you get when you're a NPB veteran. So Hideki Nageoka is now at second base. He came in to replace Nori Aoki. There is a breaking ball that misses outside. The count is 1-2 to Osama. So Hideki Nageoka. And there's a fastball swung on and fouled away by Osama, and the count is 1-2. I hope that the fighters have a good alcohol sponsor, maybe some good sake or something like that, because looks like it's going to be a long, tough season. They're going to have to grind out some wins here. The other replacement is Araki. That's Takahiro Araki. He's playing first base in replacement of Osuna. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. That's a fastball swung on. It's grounded to first, and Araki fields it. He steps on the bag. And that is going to do it for the Fighters in their half of the sixth inning. So they are hitless through 6. It goes down as a ground out to 3 for out number 3. So for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters, they had no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard in their half of the sixth inning. We're cruising to the top of the 7th. It is the Yakult Swallows nothing, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with the call of the top of the 7th inning. We're glad you could be here with us. Here's our friend Steve Rademacher.
Hello, kids. Steve coming at you. It's Steve Rademacher. And if you like interesting stuff, if you like to laugh a little bit, and if you enjoy collecting, this channel's for you. If you like non-sport cards, we have them. You like pseudo-sport cards, we open them. Even if you like entire boxes of completely pointless stuff or other sports, we have everything here. I drop a different video every day, and there's always a theme to it, from No Filter Friday to Saturday morning cartoons, even Sunday shoutouts. Once in a while, we'll get a little froggy and show Money Monday, where I showcase a bunch of my currency. We have Legos, we have Star Wars, we have a good time. We even have my brother on Takeover Tuesday. Be there or be square. Back to Freddy.
Thanks again, Steve. And the right-hander Ito has just completed his warm-up tosses, and we're ready to get back into the saddle here to give you a call in the top of the 7th inning. It is 0s across the board for both teams as this game is sailing right along. There is some changes as Osama, who started at third base, is no longer in the ball game. We'll have to get you an update on who the player is, but it's always interesting when they come up with a player wearing number 155. There's the first pitch breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. So we have a pinch hitter in the designated hitter spot. This was occupied at the beginning of the game by Domingo Santana. He had a couple of at-bats, but he is now done for the game. This is Suoma Uchiyama. Uchiyama is here at bat. He made his NPB debut last year. He had 5 at-bats, and he was 0 for 5. He didn't draw a walk. And so there's a fastball swung on and missed, and the count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes. So as we said at the outset, we're going to see a lot of what I call fringe players, young players, and players that are trying to make their impact into the NPB. And there is a fastball. This is swung on. It is ripped foul. He took the glove off the ball boy down the left field line, and that's going to keep the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Uchiyama turned that one around. So we're here on the top of the 7th inning. And there's the pitch from Ito. It is a fastball swung on and missed. And Uchiyama is retired on strikes for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up Yuhei Nakamura, the catcher. or it's scheduled to bring up Nakamura. We'll see if they're going to leave him in or if they're going to make any adjustment. As we said before, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters have already used some of their other ones, their other players. And so here we go. So Ito is asking for a new baseball. Didn't like the one that he was working with. And this is Nakamura. He steps in. He's 0 for 2 today. He bounced into a fielder's choices last time up. He popped the first back in the second inning. And here's the first pitch. It is a fastball that misses upstairs from Ito. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Slated to come to bat is Ozuna, but he is out of the game as Akari has come in. And there's a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up just behind home plate. Camping out underneath it is the catcher Shimizu. He makes the grab. And that is going to retire Nakamura. So 2 up and 2 away, and this game is moving quickly. So we're here in the top of the 7th inning, and it's been an hour and 40 minutes. The pace of the game has just been clicking along at a fantastic pace. And now batting in place of Jose Ozuna is Akari. We'll get you his specs in just a minute. He's batting from the right side, so we got right-hander against the right-hander. I say Akari, it's Araki, actually. Takahiro Araki takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike. And last year, batted 200. He had 67 at-bats. Or 67 plate appearances, 55 at-bats. He had 11 hits. No homers and 5 RBIs. And there's a fastball that just misses, and the count is 1-1. So Takahiro Araki is the hitter. You have to have a sharp pencil and a good eraser in these exhibition games with the movement. There is a split finger pitch that misses down and away. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Araki. There's 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Ito gets the sign from his catcher, Shimizu. He holds at the belt. There's nobody on, but he chooses to pitch from the stretch. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded foul over on the first base side. And the count now evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ito gets on the rubber. He again gets the sign from his catcher, Shimizu. He nods his head. He holds set at the belt. He kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball. It's swung on. And this ball is lifted foul into the seats on the right field line. And the count is going to remain at 2-2. Once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We are, whether you're listening live or on delay, it's our first game of the NPB exhibition season, so we're getting the kinks out. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. And there's a breaking ball floated up to the plate, and this ball is hit through the 6-hole into left field. Moving over to get it is the left fielder, and they throw into second base, and they make the play. What a fantastic play. That is about the 4th outstanding defensive play that the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters have made tonight. So Tamiya goes towards the left field line. He comes up throwing, hustling out of the box was Araki, and he gets thrown out at second base. So it goes down as a single, thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. So it's going to go down as a 7-4 putout. Fantastic play for out number 3. So for the Yakult Swallows in their half of the 7th inning, there was no runs, no hits, or 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now going to the bottom of the 7th inning. The score is still knotted up at 0s. It is the Yakult Swallows nothing, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. Here is our friend Matt again. Be sure to check out his channel after the game.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Once again, that's Matt Hollis. Be sure to check out his channel once the game is completed. We want to congratulate Matt on his recent passing of 1,000 subscribers. That's a big milestone in YouTube land, and obviously that is a huge accomplishment for him. And so that is outstanding for Matt. We do have a pitching change. The Yakult Swallows are going to their third pitch of the ball game. We'll get you all the specs and the information off of this fella here. He's a lanky right-hander that's coming into the game, and it looks like it is going to be Hirotashi Takanashi. So he is entering the game, a right-handed pitcher. The 20-year-old is going to be making his first appearance into the fray. So he is the third right-hander used tonight for the Swallows. We're ready to resume this underway here, and it does look like we may have ourselves a pinch hitter. So as we said, we're going to have to get you all these updates as we move along. There's a first pitch fastball ticket for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. And so entering into the lineup now for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters is a veteran, Kensuke Kondo. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is now 1-1 strike. So Kensuke Kondo into the game. And here comes the 1-1 pitch. There is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 2-1. So not only do we have a new pitcher, it looks like we have a new catcher as well, and we'll have to catch up with that as we move along. So Nakamura is out of the game for the Swallows. As we said, there's been some really good defensive plays for this early in the season. Swallows, for their lack of offense. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and then the count is now 3-1. They've only had the one base runner in the game, and that was because of the error by the third baseman, Markami. And so here's the 3-1 pitch, and now they got their second base runner of the ball game as Kondo has drawn a leadoff walk here in the seventh inning. So that was scheduled to bring up the shortstop, Kazunari Ishii. So Kondo gets a walk. He is aboard. Curious to see how they're going to play this out, if we're going to start the bunt game going now. So Ishii bats from the left side. If your proverbial best hitter is in the 3 spot in the batting order, you know, some teams these days might put their best hitter in the 2 spot, sometimes even have guys in the leadoff spot. Curious to see if they're going to let him swing the bat. Here's the first pitch. It is swung on. It is grounded up the middle. It is fielded by the shortstop right at the bag at second base, but he drops the ball on the transfer. So the second base umpire is ruling that Kondo is out at second. So that's going to go down as a fielder's choice to 6. There was no flip, no exchange on the play. We'll get the highlight. We'll get the replay on this one. It was grounded up the middle. The shortstop fielded it right on the bag, and they said on the exchange is where they are going to rule him out at second. I don't know in the spring training if they're going to the VAR. I'm not even sure if he had it. The positioning of the second base umpire was not the greatest. In fact, he was screened by the play. But that is going to retire. So Nishimura gets him, and there's the runner off to the races. They throw down to second base, and it's not in time. Ishii has stolen second base. So the first pitch to Hawakawa has allowed Ishii to steal second. So he's got himself a stolen base. So he is in scoring position with 1 away. I'll have to get a look to see if that first pitch was a ball or a strike. So since Takanashi is coming to the ball game, well, it looks like they're going to be reviewing plays. I didn't know if they were going to be reviewing plays in spring training, but they do have an instant replay review about to happen as the umpires are off of the field. And Raz says the fighters are aggressive, eh? Well, I think that the fighters have been playing. They've been playing some fundamentally good baseball, and they've been fun to watch tonight. Like they've been defensively, they've been pretty good. And so now, obviously, with the situation here with the runner at first, they're wanting to try to run. We're going to get the highlight of this. And I think the Swallows are going to be wrong. I think he stole the base. I don't think that they got the tag down in time, but you never know. I don't know what other angles they may have that we don't see, but we had the overhead angle, and the overhead angle looked to me as if the ball had beat the runner to the bag and the tag was reasonable, so you're out. Or sorry, you're safe in this case. And so here come the umpires. The throw was to the shortstop side of the base. Had the throw been to the second base side of the base, I think Ishii would have been a dead duck, but they had to bring the ball back and sweep across. So here we've got a different angle. Oof. Well, our overhead angle, I don't think that they got him, but that angle there. So we're going to get the overhead angle again. And to me, the overhead angle says that Ishii makes it to the base. We got a different angle. But the different angle, I think maybe the glove got down in time. So I'm going to have to be curious to see what the umpires say. The other thing I'd be interested in, too, is to know what the umpires have to say. I know one thing that the NPB does do is the umpires will sometimes explain their calls. My poor ability to be able to understand Japanese. I have some Japanese, but not a lot. So Raz asked, did he swipe at his feet or body? It was at his feet. He slid feet first into the base. And so the ball was, as I said, the ball was thrown to the shortstop side. The shortstop does a nice job to be able to catch it and get it down. Here comes the call from the umpires. And they ruled him safe. So as far as I'm concerned, the safe call, what we saw from the up above angle showed that he was safe, but the side angle definitely was made it intriguing. So sometimes we don't always have advantages, and maybe they get a couple extra angles that we don't get. So we have a runner at second with one away. The fighters are looking for their first hit. And by the way, that first pitch was a strike to Hokkaido. So here we go. The batting from the left side. He's got a slightly open stance. They try to pick over at second base, and they almost throw that ball into the outfield. And Ryushi Sato, the second baseman, is waiting his turn on deck. At least he's scheduled to bat. So Hokkaido waits at the plate. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. And the count goes even to 1-1. One would think this could be a turning point in the ball game. This is the first time that the fighters have had a base runner in scoring position. And they are still looking for their first hit. So if they could get their first base hit here, this should cash in a run. And he squares the bunt, and he drops it down, and it's a good one. It's over to third. The third baseman picks it up. He fires to first. And they're going to retire Okawa as the batter runner, but that's going to advance the base runner Kishi over to third. So that'll go down as a sack, 5-3. I'm going to have to do a double take, but I think Murakami is out of the ball game now. It was a bit of a weird play. The third baseman actually hesitated. He was coming in hard. He thought the pitcher might have had to make a play on it. But he ended up fielding the ball and fired it over to first. So they got the runner at first. It's going to bring up Ryushi Sato. Or it's scheduled to bring up Sato. That's exactly who it is. So Sato stands in on the right side, and both times he's flown out to center field tonight. He's officially 0 for 2. Here comes the first pitch, and it is swung on, it is popped up. It's behind home plate, and the catcher's got to run a long way, but it is going to reach the seats. There is a lot of real estate directly behind home plate here at the Sapporo Dome. And Takanashi tips his hat for the effort. So no balls and 1 strike to Sato. The catcher, Shimizu, who's come in to replace the starter, waits his turn on deck. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. And Takanashi delivers. It's a fastball swung on and missed. And the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. So Sato with a chance to put the Fighters up ahead here, as well as looking for their first hit of the ball game. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. And Takanashi kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses off the outside corner of the plate, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Sato waits on the delivery from Takanashi. There's a breaking ball. The swing is checked on. They appeal down to first base, but they say Sato didn't go, and the count now goes to 2-2. We look at the replay of it, and it does look like he just held off. 2 balls and 2 strikes, but that was close. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away, and here comes the pitch from Takanashi. There is a fastball that swung on. It is lifted into shallow center field, coming hard on it, and it's going to drop in the Bermuda Triangle in between the second baseman, shortstop, and center fielder. And the first hit of the ball game goes to Sato, and he's standing on second base with an AstroTurf double. And he gets himself an RBI, and that is going to put the Fighters up 1-0. So they're on the board here. Fantastic. And a little bit of luck because the center fielder, the right fielder, and the shortstop all converging. The ball drops into the big boss is fist pumping in the air, jumping up and down. What a nice play. Seeing eye ball, and it's 1-0 for the Fighters here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So just like that, the tide is turned. So here we go. That's going to bring up Shimizu, the catcher. And the first pitch to him is in the dirt, and the runner has advanced over to third. We're going to see if they call that a strike or not. Plate umpire is holding up his right hand as to indicate as if it would be. I'm going to have to go back and look at that on the replay again. Is that going to be a wild pitch? How are they going to score this here? As the runner now has advanced to third. So Sato, the runner at third, and we don't get the replay, but we get a breaking ball that is now a called strike. So the count is 0-2. So back-to-back breaking balls makes the count way up 0-2 on Shimizu. And so here comes the 0-2 pitch. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike at the knees. And Shimizu has been retired for the 3rd out of the inning. And that is going to do it. So for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters, they got 1 run in the inning. They had a hit. There were no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 7 complete. As we're moving to the top of the 8th inning, it is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 1 and the Tokyo Yakult Swallows nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the call at the top of the 8th inning. We're glad you could be here with us. We'll play you some tunes, and we'll be back at it in just a few. Would you like to support Last Drafts Baseball? We would appreciate it if you did. Be sure to check out our eBay page where we have baseball merchandise. We also have stuff from the Japanese League for those who listen from Japan, but we also do other sports like football and basketball as well. Don't forget, visit Last Drafts Baseball's eBay store to help support the channel. We'll be glad you did. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top of the 8th inning, and it is supposed to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming to bat for the Tokyo Yakult Swallows. There are more changes coming defensively for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters, and as it is an exhibition game, we expect that there's going to be a lot of changes, wholesale changes all over the place. There is a new pitcher on the mound, and it is going to be Kosi Yoshida, the former number 1 overall pick, and certainly star of the Japanese high school tournament from a couple of years back. So Kosi Yoshida getting his opportunity to pitch here in the ball game. He struggled last season. He only appeared in 1 game and gave up a run, and the first pitch he throws is a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. So it's supposed to be Nishira, Akahane, and Shiomi. And it is Nishira that is batting here. The count is 1-1. So as I say, we'll have to keep a keen eye on what we're doing. So here's Yoshida. He rocks into the motion. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that is swung on and missed. The count is 0-2. Yoshida has been, this is his 4th season with the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters. He's only appeared in 10 games in his career. He's got a 1-6 career record, and there is a fastball delivered. It is grounded over to first. That is going to be neatly fielded by the first baseman, and he's going to take it himself. And that is going to go down as a ground out to 3 for out number 1. I just have to confirm, but I don't know if Watanabe is still in the ball game at first base. I'll do a look at that, and it looks like it is not the case. It looks like it is Kiyomiya. So here we are back to the live action, and it is a breaking ball delivered to Akahane, and then it's taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. I have to do the double take because, as we said before, Akahane is wearing the number 023. He's got the extra 0 in front of that. So Yoshida ready to go back to work here as the count is now 0-2 to Akahane. And here we go. He rocks in the motion. He delivers. There's a fastball that just misses up and away, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yoshida again rocks into the motion. He kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 2-2. I saw Yoshida pitch once last year. And of course, I saw him also pitch in an exhibition game last year. It's a fastball swung on, and it's fouled away over on the first base side, and the count is going to remain at 2 balls and 2 strikes. But I will say this: I like his delivery. I like his mechanics. He's pretty smooth. I can see why they like him. The only challenge is he's not a big fella. He's just a small guy. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away. And sometimes you see it even in the big leagues. Diminutive right-handers, they don't have long careers. Pedro Martinez would be an exception to that. Pedro Martinez had a long Hall of Fame career. But you know for sure that there are some guys that they just don't have long careers. Simple as that. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And here comes the pitch. Yoshida kicks and delivers, and it is swung on and missed. And that is going to retire Akahane on strikes for the second out of the inning. Go back and I take a look at his pitch. It looks like he's throwing a palm ball or a bit of a slip change. So that's 2 away. And their first pitch is a another one again, and that is fouled away. The slip change is the palm ball is a pitch that you used to see more in the 70s and the 80s. I know at my end, I like to teach it to the young kids because it's an easy pitch to learn. And there's a fastball taken for a called strike at the knees. The count is now 0-2 to the center fielder, Shiomi. But if you leave it up in the zone, you might have some issues. So here we go. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. That's a breaking ball that misses down and away. And the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yoshida goes into the motion. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on, and it's fouled straight back, and the count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yoshida's got a little giddy up on his fastball. He's been in the low 90s tonight, so here comes the pitch. It's a fastball delivered, and this ball is lifted down the right field line, but it's going to reach the seats, and it's going to be foul. Shiomi sent it a long way, and the count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And here comes the 1-2 pitch, and that's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is 2-2. Raz says a bad palm ball is like a soft toss in front. I got to make it good using the palm ball. Yeah, there's two ways that you can throw the palm ball. I'll get to that in a minute. And there's a fastball up in the zone. It is swung on. It is lifted into left center field. Coming over on it is the left fielder. And that's Tamiya. He's going to make a nice grab. And that is going to retire the Swallows here in the top half of the 8th inning. And I'll come back with my thoughts on that slip change in just a moment. So there was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are going to the bottom half of the 8th inning. It is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters in the lead, 1-0 over the defending champions, NPB champions, the Yakult Swallows. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all the call after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and we're going to have to shoot down a bot here. And there we go. We put that one in the timeout. Sometimes we get bots that like to come into the stream. It's a 1-0 ball game. There's not been a whole lot of action. 6 hits so far for the Tokyo Yakult Swallows. Only 1 hit, but that's the 1 hit that's done the damage for the Fighters. And they have a 1-0 lead here moving into the bottom half of the 8th inning. And it is going to be slated to come to bat. We do have a pinch hitter coming up for the Fighters, as Watanabe has left the ball game. This is Kiyomiya that is stepping up to the plate. Taro Kiyomiya, the first round pick in the 2017 draft. He had about 226 at-bats last year, and he takes a first pitch fastball upstairs for a ball, and the count's 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes. He only batted 190 last season. There's a fastball swung on it, is lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats on the third base side. The count is 1-1. He's got a little bit of juice in the bat. He had 7 homers to go with 22 runs batted in. He's actually hit 7 homers in each of his first 3 seasons. He's only a part-time player, left-handed stick. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 2-1. So 21 career homers to his name and 636 career at-bats. So here's the 2-1 pitch. There's a fastball that is swung on and missed, and the count goes to 2-2. As we said, it's a young lineup, and it's a lineup that will see a lot of different players here tonight. And we expect that early in the exhibition season. And there's a fastball swung on. It's tapped to third. It's fielded and fired to first. And that is going to retire Kiyomiya for out number 1. That goes down as a ground out, 5-3. So Kentaro Kiyomiya, right now, certainly at this time of spring training or of the spring training, it is the pitchers who more than likely have the advantage because the hitters are not in mid-season form. Hitters' timing is a bit of an issue, and they always talk about pitching disrupting the timing of the hitter. Well, being that it's early, they really don't have to do that much disrupting. So we have another pinch hitter here, and this is going to be number 3 at the plate. So we'll get you that number in just a moment. This is Wang Po-jung, the Taiwanese player, and he swings and hits a fastball down the right field line, and the count is now 0-2. So Wang is into the game, and so, of course, when he came to the Fighters a couple of years ago, there was a lot of high expectations. They call him the king, certainly in Taiwan, but he's not hit like the king in Japan, that is for certain. And so there's a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-2. So be kind of curious with new management here if he is going to get an opportunity to see some more action. So the way we'd say it here is Po-jung Wang. Now they may say Wang Po-jo, and there's a breaking ball swung out and missed, and he is retired. Got to say that was a very uncompetitive at bat with 2 strikes. So he is the second out of the inning. And that is going to leave it to Tamiya. So one of our friends says, Nailed It is in the house here today. Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for popping in. The first pitch of the ball game, and yes, absolutely, fastballs are being delivered pretty good. There's a first pitch fastball that is taken by Tamiya for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. There is a fastball swung on. It's grounded to second. They flip it over to first, and that is going to retire the side. And so Tamiya grounds out. That goes down as a ground out, 4-3. So we're through 8 complete. It looks like we're going to have a pitching change for the Fighters. Are going to be making a call to the bullpen, or are they going to stay with Yoshida? We're going to find out in a second here when we return. So no runs, no hits, no errors for the Fighters and their half of the 8th inning. We're moving to the top of the 9th. It is the Tokyo Yakult Swallows 1, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters nothing. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top of the 9th inning, and Kosi Yoshida is still on the mound for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. They're up 1-0 as they got a run in the bottom of the 7th inning. Raz says so many fastballs in this game, especially first pitch. Absolutely. Usually in spring training, you'll see a lot of fastballs that are delivered. The pitchers sometimes are just working on hitting their spots, trying to move the ball side to side, hitting corners, developing a feel for that fastball to be able to work it. And that is certainly what we're seeing here tonight. There's not a whole lot of trickery going on. And as we said before, the timing of the hitters is also a challenge. The hitters, even though it's early, they're not really in a position where they're in a spot where they are getting their pitches. And so here we go. The first pitch from Yoshida is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. And this is the and as we go back to work quickly, and it's quickly 0-2. This is the number 58 who came into the game. This is Hideki Nagioka. He came in and he took over in the shortstop position. So here's the 0-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It's tap foul over on the third base side. And the count remains at 0-2. So Yoshida is way up in the count. I saw an article in the offseason with regards to Yoshida, and he was talking about some things he was going to change, maybe some of his work ethic in the offseason, and also his fitness level. So trying to get himself into a little bit better shape. So no balls and 2 strikes. They're 3 outs away from collecting a victory here in the postseason. So here's the 0-2. It's a fastball swung on, and it is driven off the netting just down the third baseline over the photographer's well. And that's going to keep the count at 0-2. That pitch was too good a pitch from Yoshida. So here's the 0-2 pitch. That pitch is swung on, and it is drilled into right field. And the right fielder comes up throwing. I don't know where he's throwing it to. They had to cut it off as if it was going to the plate. We said there's been some entertaining things from the fighter's outfield. I think maybe he thought he had a shot. Actually, that was a split finger pitch that was left up a little bit, and that ball was absolutely scorched. I think they might have thought they had a chance to be able to throw out the runner at first base, and that is a base hit single. And so now we're going to find out if we're into a bunt situation. So that's going to bring up the replacement for Tetsuda Yamada. And they fire over to first base. When they do that, usually with no count, they're looking to see if the batter is breaking the hands, if he's going to show bunt. I would think this is clearly a bunt situation right now. This is the left fielder. This is Moriyama Waku. And there is a pitch, and that is swung on and missed, and the count is no balls and a strike. Or maybe he goes by Waku Hirayama. Sometimes the names that you get even off the NPB site are a little bit of a challenge. So Waku Murayama is the batter. And there is a split finger pitch that swung on. It's lifted foul into the seats down on the third base side. So Mariyama is in the hole 0-2. And the runner at first with that leadoff single is Nakagu. As we said, we've got all kinds of changes as the starters have been replaced. Yeah, it's interesting. Raz says maybe exhibition instruction, just trying to fire the bases. You find that interesting, especially when you have base runners on. There's a fastball at the knees, and that's taken for a called third strike. And Waku Murayama is gone on strikes for out number 1. See, to me, that's a pure bunt situation, but especially in the Japanese league, you would see with the runner at first here, leadoff runner, that you would be getting a bunt, but I guess the manager for the Swallows is wanting to see how they're going to swing the bats. So in this part of the order, this is originally where the third baseman Murakami was hitting, but he has left the ball game. And right now we have Kataro Yamazaki up at the plate. There's a fastball swung on, and that is fouled away as he came in to replace Murakami after the 6th inning. So Kataro Yamazaki is the hitter. Yamazaki had 215 at bats last season. He hit 247. Not much pop. He's got 1 homer and had 12 RBIs. And here's the pitch to Yamazaki. It's a fastball swung on, and that ball is driven into the photographer's area, and the count is quickly 0-2. I will say this about Yoshida. He does get ahead in the count. What I will say is I don't know if Yoshida has got enough pitches to be a starter. I know that they tried him as a starter. I wonder if he will be more effective coming out of the bullpen. He comes in, he definitely has been throwing strikes. I don't know what their plans are for him this season. But it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up here, especially as we move along. He's been a starter, of course, or at least given the nod to be a starter. So here we go. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Yoshida kicks and delivers, and it is a fastball that misses down and away. And the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yoshida has thrown 29 pitches in his inning and a third of work so far. So he gets the sign from his catcher, Shimizu. He's ready to go to work. He holds at the belt. And he fires over to first, and diving back in time is the base runner, Nikagu. I think Yamazaki runs pretty well, so he's going to be a guy that you're going to have a hard time to double up. He's got 2 strikes. He's choked up on the bat. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. And that is a breaking ball that misses down in the dirt. And the count is now 2-2. So as our friend Raz said earlier, is breaking balls we don't see so much. So he says, is his speed good though, or is especially his changeup pitches? I think Yoshida sits in the low 90s. He's been here, I shouldn't say maybe sits. Tonight when I've watched him, he's been about 91, 92 where he touches, 89, 90 where he sits. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. And again, he fires over to first, and again, diving back in time as the base runner. But I would think that Yoshida has to keep hitters off balance with his arsenal of split finger pitches and slip changes. I haven't really seen much of the curveball from him tonight. So here comes the 2-2. There's a fastball that swung on. It is lifted into left field. Moving over underneath it is the fighter's left fielder. And as I said, when you start looking at my sheet, it's all over the place. Tamiya makes the grab. And that is going to retire Yamazaki for the second out. So the big boss has come out. I don't know what he's going to do. If he's making a defensive change or if he's making a pitching change. But he came out to the plate umpire to make a change. We have 2 away. And that's supposed to bring up the replacement for Domingo Santana, which would be Suma Uyama. So we'll take a look and see what they're doing over here. So he's called for basically for a no doubles defense. So he's got Sato where? He's got Sato and Ishii that were up the middle. But I think he may have made the change in the middle there. And we got a fastball that misses outside. So just a flip-flop. I don't know what he's done, but we got ball 1 here. So 1 ball and no strikes. Chiyama, his last time up, or his only other time up, he struck out. They flip it over to first base, and diving back in time is Nagioka. I wonder if they I was going to say, I wonder if they thought about actually running here in this situation. I know there's 2 out. You never want to get thrown out to end the ball game. It is exhibition, and there's a split finger pitch that swung on and missed. In a normal situation, one would have thought that the Waku would have, Murayama would have dropped a bunt down to at least move Nakagu into scoring position. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And here comes the pitch from Yoshida. It's a fastball that misses upstairs. And the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. So 2 balls and 1 strike. It's supposed to be the catcher, Yuhei Nakamura, coming to bat, but I believe we're going to see a different batter should we get that far. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. Yoshida delivers. It's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is now 2-2. So check that. The count is now 3-1. A little ahead of myself here. 3 balls and 1 strike. So 3 balls and 1 strike. The big boss looking to get a win here for the Fighters. Yoshida looking to close it out. He comes set at the belt. Here's the 3-1 pitch. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses off of the plate, and that is going to be ball 4. So now they got a host of trouble here. And so originally it was the catcher's spot, and it is still the catcher's spot. They are going to get a visit from the pitching coach who sprints out to the mound. Yudai Koga, who is coming up to bat. So Koga came in earlier. Check that. That is Yudai Koga. So Yoshida looking to close this out. Koga, it's going to be his 5th season with the Swallows. He had 116 at-bats last year. He has not hit an NPB home run yet. He did drive in 7 runs last year. So this is the ball game right here. Yudai Koga at the plate with 2 out. Or now we're going to get a pinch hitter for Koga. So now we've got we got all these changes happening here. We'll get you that update in a second here. So here we go. We got a left-handed stick at the plate. And it is Miyamoto who is into pinch hit. So this is Takashi Miyamoto. So playing a little bit of baseball chess right now. So Miyamoto stands in from the left side. The first pitch is a fastball that misses low. They appeal down to the third base umpire, and they say he didn't go. And so Miyamoto is ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Miyamoto in his 5th season in the NPB starting this year. Last year he had 286. He only had 70 at-bats, but he looks like a menace at the plate. He's a really imposing stance, and there's a breaking ball that misses in the dirt. The count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Once again, we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, whether you're listening live or on delay. We're glad we can call this one for you. We will be back again tomorrow night for the same 2 teams in Game 2 of this series. So here comes the 2-0 pitch. Yoshida checks the runner at second. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses up, and the count is now 3-0. So the big boss in the dugout is not impressed. You can tell that. So Yoshida's got his work cut out for him. 3 balls and no strikes. The fighter's going to be able to close this one off. So here comes the 3-0 pitch. You got to think there's going to be something fat coming here. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball. That pitch looked pretty good, but the umpire doesn't necessarily buy it, and that is ball 4. And Miyamoto is aboard with a walk, and that is going to load the bases. So is he going to stay with the young right-hander Yoshida? One would think so. This probably is going to be his last batter no matter what. So Ishii and Sato working up the middle. So here we go. This is going to be it. It's the first baseman, Takahiro Araki. I believe it's Araki that is up to bat, and that's exactly who it is. He came into the game to replace Ozuna earlier. Araki is batting here in place, and here is a first pitch fastball that is waved at and missed. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Araki in with the Swallows since 2010. He is a veteran player. He was originally a third-round pick in the 2009 draft. There's a fastball that he checks his swing on, and the count is 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. He is 1 for 1 tonight. He got a single his last time up, but he was thrown out. Try to stretch it into a double. A career .230 hitter in the NPB. He's got a little bit of pop. He's got 18 career home runs. But for the amount of at-bats that he has, it's really insignificant. Here comes the pitch from Yoshida. It's a fastball that misses well off the plate, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. He kicks and delivers. There is a breaking ball that misses down on the way, and the count now goes to 2-2. So the fighters are not making easy work of this. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. So here comes the 2-2 from Yoshida. He holds at the belt. He kicks and he delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is hit hard to third. It is a nice play by the third baseman who picks it up, and he steps on the base. And the big boss has got himself a win. And that is going to do it here. So that goes down as a ground out 2-5 for a fielder's choice 2-5. And that is going to erase the base runner Uekami at third base for out number 3. So we're going to give you some totals here, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we're doing tomorrow, and then we're going to wrap it up for tonight. So we do want to thank everybody for taking the time to come in to listen, whether you're listening live or on delay. So the final totals in this one, the Tokyo Yakult Swallows, no runs, 7 hits, 1 error. And for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters, 1 run on 1 hit. There were no errors, but they did have a bunch of defensive web jumps. It was a beautiful defensive plays tonight by the fighters. They were able to keep them in the game and be able to get them that win. And the victory in this particular case is going to go to the pitcher in relief. That's going to go to Ito, and it is going to be Yoshida will pick up the save. The loss is going to go to Takanashi. And of course, it's all exhibition, so these games and the stats long-term don't really matter. Just a few programming notes as before we sign off on the air. And again, thank everybody for listening in. We are going to be doing a full slate of games in 2022, especially the exhibition games will run through the season. We'll do a little bit here and a little bit there, but we're not going to do a whole lot. The exhibition season, obviously, will run through the month of March. We'll be back again here tomorrow night for the same 2 teams. We are going to be doing games live as they happen, as we've done tonight. We are also going to be doing live games on delay. So what that is we're going to call the game live, but it'll probably be about an hour or 2 after it has started. Be sure to check out our channel for the NPB shorts. Through the month of March, we're going to be doing a number of shorts regarding to the NPB. We're also going to be doing some player profiles. And of course, we're not just doing this to fill in the void. We did do games here last year, so hopefully you'll get a chance to have an opportunity to come on back in and listen to the call of the game again. All right, everybody. Once again, you've listened to another Last Wraps Baseball video production. We hope you all have a great night. Come on back and see us again. We'll be back on same time tomorrow night. Have a great night, everybody.